Good evening. This evening we are going to be talking about hobbies, your interests, the things that you are really passionate about. What we do for our living is our profession. We need to do that to earn money, and many times a profession could be in line with what our education has been. But our hobbies are something that we choose to do in our leisure time. These are our leisure time activities. And if you notice that when we apply for a job or when we are talking to people, many times we are asked what our hobbies are. What are your interests? Because your hobbies and your interests many times define who you really are. Many of us have 9-to-5 jobs. In today's world, those hours could be even longer. And in between, of course, in the busyness of life, in the business of living, we have so many duties like cooking and cleaning and taking the kids for their classes, or maybe watching out and taking care of your elderly in-laws who live in with you. You may have an extended family who needs your support. These are all your duties. And your profession, like I said, it entails your job. If your profession also happens to be your passion, then you are one of those very lucky few, because you get paid to do what you enjoy doing. But many of us, we work to earn a living, and we have leisure time activities. And these are the times that we spend for ourselves. It's your me time, when you do things that give you pleasure and that makes life enjoyable, that de-stresses you, that excites you, and you feel good about it at the end of the day. There are many. I remember when I was growing up, we had different kinds of hobbies. Like, one big thing was, in those days, pen pals. And each of us had pen pals we would write letters to, and we would exchange gifts, and many times, if we were lucky, we could get to meet our pen pals. But these days you hear less and less of that with Facebook. I know that you get to meet a lot of people, and on social media you interact with people. But those days life was not the way it is today. It was a much smaller world that we lived in. And I grew up also I would love to write letters to my pen pal. And another thing that we had was, of course, collecting stamps. It was a big thing when I was a young girl. I'm talking about like maybe 30 years back, 40 years back, collecting stamps. Like, stamp collection was a big thing. Coin collection was a big thing. But of course, along with that, there are several things that people are interested in today. Of course, the world is so huge. We tend to travel. We have scuba diving, and we have skiing on mountain tops, and we have different options. Options are more varied today, whether it's trekking or hiking or traveling or going to places that during my time we only read about. But today we have people have the opportunity to travel and see different places. It's good, like I told you, it is good for us to have varied interests, because this adds dimension to our personalities and also gives us the joy of living. Many times when I drive down and I see, people who've got beautiful gardens and lovely flowers in their balconies. That's one wonderful thing that you can do, that you can see when you are traveling, or if you have been to London, you will see that every window is so beautifully dressed up with colorful flowers, and it's so pretty. And gardening is one thing that I really love, especially when you can see the rewards of your labor. When you see the fruit in your garden, or the vegetables that you have planted and it's on your table, it gives you a special joy. And of course, in my home, many, like my husband he loves animals, especially he loves dogs, and he's a big dog lover. And he loves to spend time bathing our pets and taking care of them. So your hobbies can be varied. And today you also have the opportunity, if you like cooking or baking, we have so many online recipes. Those days we just had to call maybe our aunts or ask somebody, or maybe maximum we could go to a baking class and learn. But today we have so many different things and that help us when we are baking, and we have lessons online, cooking, chefs who are cooking and who show us how to make exotic dishes. I really would encourage everyone to have some time for themselves. Because when you have me time and when you do things that delight your heart, and when you are de-stressed, you are a happier person, and it's easier for people to live with you. And not just that, you grow. With these things, you grow to be a well-rounded personality. And you have got the ability to live life and do those things that really are your passion. It's sad when there are people who are sometimes so caught up and they're lazy, or they would rather just hang out in front of the TV or be a couch potato and not really explore the many options that we have in life. We need to understand that life is just once, and we are passing through this way only once. And we need to really make the most of every opportunity that God has given us and that life has offered to us. If you don't have a hobby, I would really encourage you. Or if it is something that you started as a young girl, and then maybe or a young man, and then the stresses of life just pushed it out of your life and you don't have time for it anymore, I think it's time to resurrect it. It's time to bring it back into your life. Because again, doing something that gives you happiness makes you a more contented and a more happy person. And when you are okay, then everybody around you will also be okay, and things around you will also be more fun, because you will have a lot more to give to people. So I really encourage you to get into something that could have been maybe a dream that you could pursue. I know a young lady who's a dentist by profession, but she had a passion for baking, and she decided that she would start her own little bakery, and today she's known to make the most exotic cupcakes and the most wonderful cakes, and slowly she decided to make this her profession. So she's a lucky one who's made her hobby into her profession, and she's also able to make a living out of that. Not many of us can do that, but I would really encourage you to keep your profession going so that you can make a living, and at the same time do something something, maybe on a weekend, that will de-stress you and that will bring the joy and laughter back into your life. So all the best.